Tip number 1, open with a compliment. For example, that was amazing. Wow, your work is awesome. Tip number 1, the first thing you should do is open up with a compliment and support the writer. For example, if you were in a science class, you could say, I think you did a great job because you said how the jet streams move from west to east. After that, if you think they're missing a piece, you could say, have you thought of including that the jet stream moves west to east because of Earth's rotation? Keep your compliments kind, polite, and respectful.
Tip number 2, be specific and detailed. For example, I think you did a great job because... When you write a comment, be specific and detailed. For example, if you like a book, why do you like it? Is it because it has a lot of good vocabulary, or is it for another reason? A good way to write a comment would be, I like your project because, and why you like it.
Tip number 3, add new information. For example, did you also know that?
Tip number 3, provide factual information. So, for example, if you were talking about, someone was talking about matter, you could add some facts you know about matter, such as that matter is a solid, liquid, or gas. And if a writer talks about a place like the Grand Canyon, then you could, if you've been there, you could share some facts or what it was like there.
Tip number 4, make comments original. Don't repeat what other people have said.
Tip number 4, make your comments original and don't repeat what other people have said.
Tip number 5, make a connection. For example, I can relate to this because...
Tip 5, make a connection with your classmates and what they post. Say if the post is about a baseball game they went to. And if you went to a baseball game, share about the baseball game you went to. Share what teams were playing and where was it at.
Tip number 6, make your comments relevant.
Tip 6, be relevant. If you post something about going to California, don't write a comment about what you ate for dinner last night, because that would make no sense.
Instead, you can connect to the blogger about going to another state or country.
When you do this, encourage other people to join the conversation and talk about the topic related to the post.
Relevancy is important because if you are commenting about something not related to the post, it will make other people spread a whole other conversation.
Tip number 7, don't include private information such as your address, phone number, age, passwords, and family information.
Tip number 7, you don't want to share private information on the internet because it is not safe. Over time, your teacher might allow you to start blogging with other classes and it might become public. So you don't want to share private information such as where you live, what your phone number is, any passwords you use for any websites, and details like where your soccer practice is.
Tip number 8, end with a question. For example, what do you think about?
Tip number 8, when commenting, end with a question and get a conversation started. Teachers, give students feedback. Teachers, please leave comments and feedback on our work. We enjoy feedback because it will help us think at a deeper level. For example, in a science class, you can ask, can you tell me more about matter? Asking questions will help us get a conversation going, and this will help us if we eventually start blogging.
Tip number 9, proofread. Check for spelling, grammar, punctuation, and capitalization.
Tip 9, proofread before commenting. Complete sentences, spelling,
Grammar, punctuation, and no emojis or text language.
Tip 10, share your well work.
Tip 10, what well work to post on Seesaw. The first well work you should post on Seesaw is something you're proud of. For example, a piece of writing that you have worked on for an hour for every day for 2 weeks. The second well work you should post on Seesaw is something that was hard that you figured out. For example, a really challenging math paper you have completed. The third well work you should post on Seesaw is something you tried for the first time. For example, a science experiment you've never done before. The fourth well work is something that you know really well that you can teach someone else. For example, you can write how to use the new iOS 11 update. That is how you use WowWork on Seesaw. Remember WowWork.